If there is no God, then there is no good and evil. Let me explain. Why believe in God? Reason number 5. If the universe were created by accident, then there is no such thing as good and evil. Everything just is. And then a lot of people would still insist and say that, oh, we can create our own moral standards and we can find out what's right or wrong using common sense and our own reasoning and everything. But what might seem common sense to one person varies to what seems common sense to another person. For example, I might think it's common sense for you to give me $1,000. And that might make perfect sense to me, but to you, it's common sense that no, you should be able to keep that $1,000 because you earned it. So from what's common sense from one person varies to another person. And if everyone just did whatever they thought was right, then society would go into chaos. That's partially why we have laws. But just because something's legal doesn't mean that it's good. For example, many years ago, slavery used to be legal in the United States. It is thankfully now very much illegal. But just because it was legal back then, obviously doesn't mean that it was good. So laws are not always a good determiner of morals. And then we could say, oh, well, we can determine what's good or healthy for society based on social standards and social norms, but that changes too. For example, there are a variety of racist things that used to be socially acceptable many years ago, and thankfully are no longer acceptable, such as segregation or having specific bathrooms based on your race. Social norms are not a good moral standard because they change, and they're dependent on the opinions of several individuals. They're not dependent on something that can stay the same. That's why God and only God's standards for morals make sense to follow, because not only are they universally applicable to every human being on the planet, they don't change. In the Bible, in the book of Malachi, God says, I am the Lord, I do not change. So if you believe in morality, it only makes sense to believe in God too, and that is why